Good morning. Oh, well, it's a little windy today. I guess we had a storm last night. I slept pretty well right through it, and I woke up. We woke up a bit late. That's why it's a little bit more lighter today. But the wind's out. It's a fairly nice day so far. Tomorrow they're calling for 20 to 30 millimeters, so that should be interesting. If this wind doesn't blow it all the way. But yeah, ooh, interesting here. I guess we did have a storm. I don't know if you can see this, but my chair can't get through. There's leaves and trees falling down, and well, not falling down. Just a whole bunch of messing around. So far, I guess. So there are a few branches. You know, the wind's pretty constant, but we'll see. I'm sure somebody will clear. I just can't do it. And we met a friend of Nico's, so we walked back. So sit back and relax, and we'll go over and have a chat. And we may do it a lot inside and do some outside. It's starting to lighten up quite a bit. But yeah. There is an old Quality Inn on Howe Street that caught on fire last night, and in April, someone died from a fire in there. And I guess they're just opening up and letting people in there, which is great, but I think, we can't afford to hire people to watch over. Make sure that there's no cooking in the suite, or no smoking cigarettes or other things. And I think part of the reason is these people who have to live there or stay there don't, it's not theirs. And I think we need to find some social housing and places where they can lay down, but they don't have to cook or anything. And we think, well, yeah, they could go out and eat something, if they found a job. Well, it's not easy for everyone to find a job. I worked for years at 7-Eleven, and sometimes it's hard for people to actually get out and to find employment. And they would come in. Now a lot of them would come in and say, "Oh, would you sign this saying I came in here asking for a job?" And I would say, "No, you didn't present yourself like you wanted a job." So, you have to be aware of things. And, people need to come up, and we need to get people up so they can get into society. Places are run down. It's probably not a nice place anymore, but it's 157 bed or room or place to get these people off the downtown east side or wherever they're living. I were inside. It's brightening up out there, but it's not going to be a sunny day. But getting back to our first topic is people who can pay rent or whatever expect their places to be safe. So these homeless shelters, they could be old hotels. I think there's one, I think it's the old Biltmore Hotel. They're places where people can go to feel safe, but they're not really safe. And the old Skid Row hotels where people pay rent to just barely live, it's a lot of mess. And I'm not saying that silk sheets or whatever, but we should have basic necessities. That they should have a place where they can have a shower. They can have a place where they can eat. They don't necessarily need to have a kitchen, but these places should have money in order to ensure that people have a place, they can call their own. It's better, but right now we have to deal with homeless shelters. And you know what? We seem to think that, oh, well, they're not working, they can't afford these things and they shouldn't be out there. Well, they shouldn't be out on the streets either. These are people too. And I think it's important that we take care of all our people, and everyone should have at least a place to go that is safe and clean, that if a fire breaks out, people can get out. And it's obviously these old hotels. Well, it's not really that old of a hotel, the one on Howe Street. But, we've got to look at how are we going to take care of these people. A lot is going to open up and we need to take care of some people. I don't care who's in government. I don't care if it's the NDP or if it's the Liberals or whoever. We need to start dealing with these people that need help to live. But, I don't think we're doing a good job. So, it's something to think about. Get out there and help if you can. We'll be right back and we'll continue on. Now, across the region, I think we talked about it on the intro, excuse me, that there are trees down, that there are things out all over the place, branches broken, we couldn't get through. Maybe I'll reinsert the picture, it was a little dark. But I couldn't drive through, my chair wouldn't allow me to do that. And we're lucky that people around us in Burnaby, we have power cords underneath. We don't have hydro lines up running over, and so we usually have power. Even the big windstorm of last year, we ended up with power, and which we're grateful for. However, you should be able to check on your neighbors. Use the time to get to know people. Help people out. Ensure that you take care of your neighbors. Make sure they're all right. If they're without power, are they able to eat? Are they able to get out? I'm sure there were always, growing up as a kid, there were always elderly people in the neighborhood. And I can remember that we had a big windstorm and there was times we had an earthquake. And there was this mean old lady. You know, we were playing, I think we were kicking a ball on our front lawn, and it accidentally rolled onto this lady's lawn, and she used to yell at us over this. But, the power had been out in our neighborhood for a couple of days, and my mom and I think a couple of my brothers, whatever, went over to ensure that she was okay. Well, she didn't have any food and she couldn't get out of bed, so, my mom, we got her some food and, made her, a little warming pot or, one of those little coffee pots that you can make tea or soup in. And, it's just showing that you care. And a lot of these elderly people, you think are mean and cruel. This lady, even after us, it accidentally went into her garden one time. And I just had a coughing fit. Her whole attitude towards us had changed. And that was because we weren't these bratty kids. We were kids that, got out and made sure that people were okay. So, you know what? You need to ensure that people around you are taken care of. If there's someone who can't take care of themselves, if the power's out, if the utilities are out, go and see if they're okay. Don't, nowadays everything is, it's all about us. Oh, aren't we terrible? Oh, but it's all about us. We're fine. Oh, our family's fine. But, nowadays there's an awful lot of people out there who aren't able to take care of themselves. And, it's fine when they're able to get electricity and everything else going fine. But when they're not, people need help. Sometimes they needed help. And we are so driven that, oh, yes, we can do everything and it's important that we do everything. Well, it's not like that. And, it goes with the homeless people. Everyone needs help. And it could be someone living right next door to you. And, they don't want to help because, there are people that are poor and, they're dirty. I don't want to touch them. But, if someone's out there asking for money, they're probably, I'd say a number of times they're needing help. There are people who are out there as a scammer. But getting them a meal or going to a thrift store and getting a warm coat if it's on a cold, windy night, that's the sort of thing that we need to care about each other. And we're getting into the winter season, and that is the time that, you need to help one another. Because who knows, one day you could be in that position. It's something to think about. We'll be back. Okay, it seems like both sides of the continent are getting hit. We had a windstorm. Nothing fair to what's happening in Florida and such with Hurricane Matthew. And we've seen pictures where the windstorms and the rain and this is no laughing matter. And, I have to think that if we ever had something like this happen, are we prepared? everyone says, well, yes, you should have a kit that you can handle for 72 hours. And that got me thinking, what would happen? I have a kit for my diabetes, but, it doesn't have my medical stuff in it. And, we all need to ensure that we're safe and, that you have some, I don't know if they're crackers and cheese or foods that aren't going to spoil. It could be cans of something, ravioli, but make sure you have a can opener as well. It may be like up to 72 hours, they say, until help is going to get there. And, it's important that we do this. And, Vancouver, yeah, we get rain and we get some windstorms, but most people are pretty well safe. I know I said just before this, go check on people next door. But, if a hurricane ever hit, now I know hurricanes or tropical storms hit Mexico on either side, some from the Pacific, some from the Atlantic side. But pretty well North America, we're pretty well oblivious. Florida or Louisiana will get hit, but on the whole, the rest of the continent is pretty well safe from, major storm disasters. But we need to ensure that you are prepared and get out there and get a kit and make sure that your sons or daughters know that, cell service isn't going to work. They say, well, my son or daughter can call me because, the cell may not be working. People seem to think, oh, well, everything will be fine and everyone will check on us and everything will be great. It's not going to be that way. So you need to ensure that people are taken care of. Your family, have a meeting point. What happens if there's damage to your home and your home's not livable? You've got to have an emergency kit that you can grab and take with you. Oh well, people keep thinking that, oh well, everything will be okay, that, we'll be fine, and you're not going to be fine. People, phones aren't going to be working. I know Vancouver has some emergency areas, but everyone's going to be going there. If you're able to take care of yourself for 72 hours, be sensible. Don't go chasing down people, and there's going to be looters out there and people that need food, but we need to take care of everyone. And first start with yourself, and then if you're able to help someone else out in these situations, then help them. But don't go out looting. Don't go out causing trouble. Helping people will turn around, and eventually, they will end up helping you. But that's me for right now, and we'll talk to you in a bit. So in closing today, do unto others as they would have unto you is a recurring theme on these topics. Now, we've seen Hurricane Matthew hit Florida. There's some flooding. But we have to ensure that everything is okay and that people around you are okay. And so, ensure that people are, and your family's okay, and help one another. Just get out there and, we're thankful for what we have, but, you could help other people. Anyway, have a super day. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to get out a bit and do a little bit in the daytime, but we'll see. It's supposed to rain 20 to 30 millimeters, so we'll have to see. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.